Hi there, I'm Andrea Koppel, and it's Time for Coffee, the podcast where you get to hear firsthand what the jobs and careers that interest you the most are really like. Hey there, Java junkies. Welcome to another K-Cup mini episode of Time for Coffee. By the way, K-Cups come in 3 sizes, single, double, and triple shots, or roughly 1 minute, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes in length. So if you don't have time to throw back an entire caffeinated career conversation, these K-Cup mini episodes of T4C can give you a quick caffeinated fix, whether you're on the go or you only have a few minutes to binge. So grab your mug and take a chug, because it's time for a caffeinated career double shot K-Cup with my guest, Shawn Olds. Here's another opportunity for you to illustrate what you said in our Espresso Shots interview. And by the way, check out show notes to see if Shawn's Espresso Shots episode has already dropped. But in that episode, Shawn, you said one of the best things that can happen for you in life is that you can fail. So could you share a time in your professional life when you failed and how you persevered and maybe a lesson that you learned in the process?
So I'll share something that about only half a dozen people know right now. So after my second startup, which failed miserably and lost almost everything, I was living in Los Angeles and I spent a little over 3 months homeless, literally living in my car. Lost my apartment, pretty much lost everything. And at the time, I still had a gym membership. So I would literally sleep in the gym parking lot and go in the morning, and was in the best shape of my life because I could afford to do 2 to 3 hour workouts in the morning, but would shower and shave there. And this was pre 9/11, so I could head over to the airport. And I still had, from my professional days, my red carpet membership for United. And I would head into the red carpet lounge and spend the day there because, number one, they would feed you. And number two, there were a lot of business travelers coming through. And when you're sitting in the red carpet lounge, people assume that you have a job. And that was how I networked. And that was how I found my next opportunity. But it took over 3 months of that. And it was a dark time. I didn't even tell my parents. They had no idea. But I knew firsthand from other experiences I'd gone through that there are tougher things to go through. And I also knew in the back of my mind that I had resources out there. I had friends who, if I called upon them, could have slept on a couch. I could have slept on a floor, but I didn't want to. And so went through that. That has fortified me in things I've done since then. It's allowed me to realize how bad things can get. And no matter how bad some days may seem, I realize that I'm not sleeping in my car. And so it's actually not that bad.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that, Shawn. It says so much about you, not only that you would share that with me and with our listeners, but the fact that you were so strategic about the membership that you kept, the memberships, and the fact that you knew that if you hung out in the airport lounge, that you would be able to network and did network. What was the job that you got during that period of time just before you got hired?
The job I got, it was prior to September 11th, was actually with another consulting firm, which, not a startup, but went into consulting, which I had done in the past, which my resume spoke to, and did that job until September 11th when I went back into government service.
Thanks for tuning in to this K-Cup mini episode of Time for Coffee. If you want to listen to our entire caffeinated career conversation, please check out the show notes for this episode. Thanks so much for listening to Time for Coffee, where the professionals in the jobs that most interest you always have time to grab coffee, 24/7, no matter where you live. I have one quick favor to ask you. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe to Time for Coffee. Thanks so much.